What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Famous Chili podcast with Ari Nair, Rishi Mehta, Nish Patel, and Prem Jani. Welcome back, guys. Another great episode. Can't wait. I got this energy back, coming back from spring break. How are y'all doing?
We're the opposite, bro.
No way. What's with all these depressed faces? What's going on with you guys?
Take a guess.
Midterms.
Yeah,
Dude, I honestly had a depressing day too. Like I lost 8-7 in FIFA today. It was kind of bad. That was like the worst. That was the worst game.
Please be quiet.
Not everybody here has spring break and winter, man. Not everyone here has spring break and
That's
winter.
very true, bro. You know, it honestly kind of sucks.
I will say,
actually, I wouldn't want that. I feel like that does suck because now you have like a huge gap of like.
No, it's not even that. It's like then it doesn't align with my like everyone else. Like you guys are with like people that like with their friend group and stuff, and I'm like the odd one out who's like before, you know.
No, but I actually I'm in the same way. Everyone has theirs like next week. I'm the week after, so I miss everybody by like 2 days.
he's gonna be off.
You're the week after.
Yes, like when you guys leave, I'm arriving. So yeah.
Oh no.
Prem's a week ahead of everyone, and Ari's a week behind everyone.
Yeah, daylight savings, man. Daylight savings.
Daylight savings.
I will say though,
wait, that's happening also soon now too. Damn, we gotta lose an hour.
Bags are getting
more
bigger.
Daylight. Ari's nocturnal ass enjoys it.
Ari's Hey, no, Ari. To be fair to Ari, he's been better since college started, right? Or no? No. Okay.
Yeah.
It was better first semester, you said, right? It was pretty good when you were.
Yeah. No, it's still. It'll always be better than that. I don't think I could ever like go back to that. Like,
Fair.
Yeah. Still not good, you know, but better than before.
I mean, what are your sleep schedules looking like?
Me.
It depends. Like on a good day, I would sleep at 11, and then if it's I'll wake up at like 6:37. So I sleep like
in
7
college.
Hours. On a good day, I'll sleep 7 hours if I don't have anything going on.
Lucky, bro. On a good day for me,
that's
if
like
I can get
pretty
people out of
rare.
my room. If I can get people out of my room on time, I'd sleep at 2 minimum. 2 minimum.
Wow. Damn. For me, it's similar, closer to Ari's. I'd say 12 to 2. Generally, I try to get in bed around 12, but sometimes it ends up being later depending on the day. Sometimes I only get back home at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I would sleep at 11 if I have literally nothing going on that day, which is almost never.
Yeah, which is very rare now. Yeah. I mean, after first semester, it got very rare. But yeah, mine's usually 11 to 2, and I'll wake up at 7 all the way to like 10.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same as mine, actually. Yeah.
It depends on how much work I have. The days looking like.
Do you guys need your 8 hours or no?
Yes. Yes.
100%. I think for me it's closer to like the 7 mark. I think 7 is like my
For
minimum.
me, it's 7 to 8. Like I sleep at 12 typically, and then I wake up at either 8 or like plus 8 hours to whenever I sleep, essentially. So
I need at least 8 hours. Like today morning, I was supposed to go back to college, and I woke up at 6:50 a.m. or like 6 something a.m. Showered, got ready, and then after my shower, I still felt tired. So I told my parents I'm just not going back, and I slept for 5 hours because, well, I did not achieve my sleep. So I'm still home now, I guess.
Yeah,
and I still have midterms tomorrow and the day after.
Wait, how do you get to college usually? You get drove? You drive?
Yeah. So it's one of two things. It's either because my dad works in an exchange place. So I either go with him and then I take the light rail to Hoboken, or I take the train directly to Hoboken from New Brunswick. But I like going with my dad because I get to save $14 because NJ Transit is ridiculously expensive.
That's fair.
Ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. Wait, Rishi, take us through your Stevens problem that happened last week.
My Stevens problem. What happened last week?
With the water.
Oh,
that was
wild. Oh my god. Okay, so apparently, this is what I've heard. I haven't done much research, but what I've heard was that some PSENG worker was working on the pipeline and made a mistake, made a boo-boo, whatever you want to call it, and he broke the pipe, and the pipe literally exploded completely. Like there was this video of water just like coming out like a little fountain and just going down the streets. So essentially what happened was that Hoboken, like they had to cut off the lines or something like that. So the entirety of Hoboken lost water for like 4 or 5 days.
Wait, all of Hoboken or just Stevens?
All of Hoboken.
So Hoboken's all relying on a singular pipeline?
Yeah, about. And so basically what happened for the first 2 days was that we were pulling like, okay, so campus is like split in half. There's like dorms at the top of campus and dorms at the bottom because our campus is kind of like a downhill. So the dorms at the top of campus were like connected to like a reservoir at Stevens. So we had water throughout until we were told to go home because that's when the water in the reservoir was running out. But people at like the end of campus, like the bottom of campus, had no water. So and all those dorms at the bottom of campus are communal, not private like the rest of Stevens. So everyone was taking shits and just not flushing. So my friend, he said he goes to take a shit and there's just a mountain of shit in the toilet. And it's just there. And so he texted me at like 12:30 a.m. He's like, I can't take a shit here, bro. Like I'd rather die than take a shit here. So he comes over to my dorm, takes a poop, whatever he has to do. I'm like, yo, I got you. And then
Tuesday, it's like the Mumbai slums, bro. Goddamn. It's like Slumdog Millionaire all over again.
Exactly. And then Tuesday, they like advise us for like whoever's able to go home. They tell us to go home to save water because some people have COVID. They need the water, blah, blah, blah. So I was home since last Tuesday, basically. But we've been working on online school since then. So I guess it's been pretty cool. One midterm went online. Actually, 2 midterms went online. But my 2 hardest midterms are still not online, so that's unfortunate.
So wait, you have to go drive back up to school for that?
Tomorrow morning.
Damn, good luck with that.
6 a.m. 6 a.m.
6 a.m. What?
Yeah, I got class at 9:30.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
How many classes do you guys have as like in your respective? I mean, 3 of us were basically the same major, but like how many classes do you guys have a week?
Why do you always bring that up, bro? You always bring up.
Well, no. I'm saying it's different. Like low-key CS has less classes in person, I'd say. At least at UIUC. We have less required. I have less like required in-person classes than a lot of other people. But maybe that's also because I don't go to some lectures. Some of my lectures just aren't worth going to. Yeah, I go to ones that I should. I'm starting to go back to stats again. Lineage I don't go to because it's just not worth it. Like I'll just Khan Academy the videos or I'll YouTube the videos, MIT course on YouTube.
Wait, Nish, are you doing quant?
Yeah, like as an RSL. It's like an organization, like a club.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not like a class or anything. Yeah, for stats, I'll go to I'm starting to go back to lectures. But he still records those. And then I'm able to focus more if I'm in person rather than like waiting 2 weeks to watch all my lectures at once. But all of my other classes are pretty one of my CS classes is completely online. My discrete math class is 1 time a week in person. And then every 2 weeks we have one online test. It's not an online test like
once a week.
We have a once a week because they don't teach it. We have to learn it on our own. We have a one time in person. It's like a giant 200 person, 300 person lecture hall. And we just sit there doing practice problems and we can ask all the TAs, just roam around. Basically, we ask them questions if we need.
Wow. But I kind of like that though.
It's really not that great. I'll be honest. Okay. It's good if
I mean, that's just having TA office hours anyway.
That's just, it's basically office hours. The whole class is basically self-taught. We have good resources though. We have a textbook. We have practice problems. We have lecture videos and stuff. But
wait, what class is this?
Discrete math.
Discrete.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really don't like the setup of that class, but it is what it is. We have one examlet, they're called, once every 2 weeks at the CBTF, the computer-based testing facility. And so that's basically just like a computer lab where we all take tests. But yeah, I also have my Lineage midterms there. I don't go to Lineage lectures, as I just said, but I do have a required online lab on Friday mornings and a required discussion on Tuesdays. But yeah.
So on average per day, how many classes do you have?
Required?
Well, okay, total. Okay, fine. Total and then do required. Okay. Give me 2 numbers.
So total is between 2 to 3. Most days I have 2, some days I have 3. And then required per day is probably around 1, maybe less than 1.
Oh my God.
Because the thing is, one of my gen ed also goes online half the time. So we have Zoom calls and I just have to join the Zoom call. But it's a very easy gen ed. And literally my gen ed is 30% is a project, 30% is a midterm, and 30% is another midterm. And those midterms are 72 hours online, as long as whenever you want to take them. Yeah. But the classes aren't any easier just being online. It's just that they're on your own, notes. I guess. Yeah, but that isn't just notes. Some of them, not all, only that one. That's the only one that's technically open notes because none of the others are open notes. I still have to take my test in the computer-based testing facility, and that's just like taking a Schoology test we would have taken last year, but you can't access anything.
Open notes test just remind me of like junior year when everyone found creative ways to cheat in all of the classes we were in. Shout out Francis and physics.
Physics one.
That class, the way
I don't know what you guys did to that guy, man. Like
we didn't do anything.
You broke him. You guys broke him for real.
We were. Why are you saying you guys? We were in the same class.
I didn't have Francis.
I had Francis.
Oh wait, Ari,
I never
would you
did
have your
anything.
Junior year.
I took honors physics and then took C.
Oh right.
Bro, I was not like.
I'm so glad I did that, man. Even Dr. Basu said like she doesn't think AP Physics 1 is a good introduction. She says like go do honors physics first and then jump to C. That's way better.
I really wish I'd taken
physics
C.
1.
I really wish I'd taken C.
You would have took
C.
That class was honestly a lot of fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
I told you,
dude. I would have enjoyed C so much. The only issue is that it was a double block, but like I did great in 2 and then C. I mean, we were.
Dude, no, but I'm actually happy you didn't, because then like our ELA class, our ELA class was a lot more fun, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I just wish I'd taken C, because C is like, it's just such an interesting class, and it was like a small group of people. It felt like
that was the most fun
homey,
part,
right? Yeah.
We had the Taco Bell runs, man. That was so much fun.
What? You had Taco Bell
runs? Like not during class.
No,
no.
Like with
after,
like we would just all go to Taco Bell because it's like 8 people.
I was gonna say,
the class was only 8 people, and it was like nice. Yeah. But I don't know. I would have done great in that class too. It wasn't an issue. Like I should have just taken C from the get go.
I wish I took C as well. If I knew that Stevens doesn't take AP Physics 1 or 2 credits, I would have just taken C, because now not only did I waste 2 years of high school in 1 and 2, I'm now wasting 2 semesters in college with 1 and 2. I regret talking about the Super Bowl in physics too. But besides that, I like the class, you know. Dude, it was fun time.
For me, it's not even credits. It's just I genuinely think I would have enjoyed that class more. I would have learned more from that class. Like either way, I'm not really getting credit for it. Like I don't need to take 1 or 2. I'll just get like total credit hours credit. But and I don't need to take physics for my CS program. So it is what it is. But I just would have enjoyed C.
How much SimCity did we play in that class?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! No! Forget about that class. Me and Nishk every day in gym, bro. We compete in that class. Like no, and then at a certain point, we both like added each other as friends, so that we just trade each other. Like remember we trade each other like supplies.
What are you trading people in SimCity, man?
We're trading wood, metal, plastic,
and then it all ended. We were just going like this for a bit, and then it all ended,
and then we just stopped one day. We just randomly
the wood stopped. Just because it was because it wouldn't update, because we all figured out a way. Dude, that was when I figured out how to download freaking games on our things using the self-service.
It was after it wouldn't update on. Yeah, I remember.
Those are good times.
I figured out how to download stuff, because like you pause the download and use that thing with self-service. Yeah. I figured it out.
In that case, you were my downfall completely for every class, bro. As soon as I got games on my iPad,
I broke the school. Well, I guess Nicolesh Reddy figured it out first, but he didn't tell me what it was, and then I figured it out like a day after he did, and then like a couple people found out from that, and it broke the school. We broke the school.
Bro, it was actually it was so bad. After I started getting games, I listened to like a negative amount of Dr. Basus's lecture, bro. I really just go in there and be like, all right, I just had my lunch. It's game time now. And I'd run that car racing game for like an hour and a half, or like sleep half the time. Dude, I know all of us slept a good amount in that class.
No, I couldn't. I was in the front row, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the front. I couldn't do anything.
The one thing was that because it was third block right after lunch for us, you eat like,
and it was dark.
And it was dark in there too. Yeah. Ooh. But I'd always I remember one time she called me out because I was like, my head was nodding. And
I remember that. Yeah.
And she was like, "Nish, you want to go take a walk?"
Yeah.
Dude, she caught me lacking that day.
She honestly, I don't think she would have cared if one of us in C would have fell asleep.
She would
to slowly here's the thing. Off. She would just say, "Hey, what's going on? You didn't sleep?"
She told us something. She's straight up. She's like, I care more about this. She's not. I care, but she definitely did, because one, she knows you guys cared more, and number two, you guys met with her every single day, so you guys were closer with her.
See, that's the thing. I feel like I wish I had taken C for that reason because I did care about physics. Like I wasn't bullshitting that class. Like I
no,
did
but then she also knew like we had kids like Divi who just handed it in like two minutes into the test, or like
no. That was Lucas, wasn't it?
Lucas submitted it 2 minutes in. He just couldn't do anything, and he just submitted it and was like, "Oh, I'll take the 50."
That was so funny, yeah. And then she just like,
that's why she took away your retakes, right?
Yeah. No. She didn't take. Did she take it away? No, she said.
Eventually, she did.
No, she didn't take it away. She was just like,
no, she didn't.
You guys. She's like, you guys can't skip a test and expect a retake. You guys have to.
It was like
she became more strict. And like towards the end, she said she's only doing retakes for C now. Like towards the end of the year.
I don't remember.
No.
I don't think so.
She was just really strict on like when you.
I would have known because my grade would have tanked if that happened. So I know that didn't happen. But
yeah, I ended with like a 93 or 4 in that class too. I wish I had just taken C.
All right, great. We get it. You're good at physics. We get it.
Okay, it's not even.
I was 1 off of 90, bro. I ended with an 89 in that class.
Oh damn!
Unfortunate.
I just remember like every day, I'd see the whole C line like pull up right after us, like in the hallway. I was like, damn. I really don't want to go to math.
Could have been us, man. Could have been us.
Wait, it was actually I was like so intrigued by your class because I remember one day I was taking my retake of my test during your class presentation.
Yes,
rather than like paying attention to my test, dude, I could swear Ari caught me lacking like a million times. Like I'd just be like staring and just like watching and like having fun with them, and like I'd have my like 4-page test like right in front of me with like 2 problems done. And then like I see the time, like, oh shit, I still got like 3 problems left to do. But I'm still just so intrigued by what they're doing, bro. That class looked like so much fun. Our class was like anti-fun, bro. Except that one project. That we did.
Roller coaster.
The Rube Goldberg.
That was good.
Yeah,
our machine was next level. And of course I came up with like the best name for it, right? So you know how in the Rube Goldberg machine, right? How it's like called a bonk, right? Each step is a bonk, like when it hits something. Yeah. So we used like, did she ever show you like the flying cow thing that she has? Did you guys ever use those?
Flying cow? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. When we learned about like pendulums and like circular motion or something, we like talked about like a flying cow problem. And she showed us that she has an actual flying cow that she used to use, but is broken now. So that became like the mascot of the class. So we took that and used that as like a pendulum to like, as like the thing to hit into stuff. So we called it Cowabunga.
Nice.
That was the Ari joke for the week, guys.
That was an impromptu Ari joke for the week.
What a beautiful joke.
And you knew he had that punchline waiting. He was just trying to think of a.
No. That's generally what we named it.
Oh.
Rishi,
I didn't think of it on the spot.
Right?
She just asked us what's it called.
It was me, you, and Ishan.
No. Was it you?
No. It was me and Roj. I was with Roj.
Roj.
Oh, it was me, you, and Prem. No, not Prem Y. Was it Prem Y?
It probably was, actually.
It might have been Prem Y. Dude, I haven't talked to Prem Y in a minute. Yeah. Shout out Prem Y, bro.
Prem Y. Oh, yeah, anyways. Or was it Divi? No, was it Divi?
No, Divi was in our group, I'm pretty sure.
Divi was with mine.
Oh, no. Who's I with?
Yeah. Oh, no, was mine? I don't even know, dude.
Wait, so was it just you and
me? No, I don't know. It was me, Roj, and someone else, but that other person didn't really do anything.
I remember Ishan was with Ian and Zizer.
Okay, so who was
I don't know. Whoever, I think it was Prem Y maybe. But dude, one of our things was like, you know how like in the high school, like the ceiling lights were like bars that were hanging.
Yeah.
There was like 2 wires, but we basically took rope and we made it so there was a heavy like object. It was like a 1 kilogram mass on one side, and on the other side was a domino. Or something similar to a domino. I forget.
It was a domino. So then once a domino fell, the weight would go down.
Oh yeah. The domino knocked the weight over this edge of the table.
Yeah.
And then it would literally just be like a pulley, and the weight would pull up, and then something would come up on this side, and it knocked something else over. It was just so cool. Like,
that's sick.
We used that circuit board. You guys remember the snap-on circuit board?
Oh yeah, we used snap. Yeah.
No, we used a rat trap for ours.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember that.
And then like it shot up, and then the needle would poke at the balloon, and the balloon popped.
Well, I mean, we use Lightning McQueen, so
yeah. Oh, you use Lightning McQueen?
You win.
You win.
Ka-chow, bro.
He's at the top of that Riz list, bro. He's the top of that Riz list.
You guys did my man Balji dirty, man.
I don't know about that, man. God. I'm still holding by our list.
I'm holding by my
I'm
list.
okay with what we did.
Yeah.
Ari, can you recreate that Balji Riz for me? And maybe I'll change my mind. Oh
God. Rishi.
Today's been a crazy day, though, right? Especially for sports. The day we're recording this, we've had so much news come out with quarterbacks, right? So first off, this morning we wake up, Derek Carr to the Saints.
Yeah, who told you that?
Woj.
Yeah.
Woj? Woj is basketball.
Basketball, yeah. Rappaport, man. Ian Rappaport came through.
Rappaport? Bruh. Nah, they all know it's me because I'm the one who gives them the insider information. I got my sources in the league, you know.
Let's be
I've
real.
been cultivating it for the last 18 years.
Recently, Sai's been releasing.
You've been slacking, man. You've been slacking.
No, bro.
Slacking.
No. Dude,
don't know.
Sai gave it up to me, bro. After that Daniel Jones debate, he's like, yo, you got it. So that shit's mine.
Okay, well, let's talk about this trade though, because this is kind of a big blockbuster trade.
It wasn't a trade.
Oh, sorry, he got picked up.
Yeah.
But he agreed to deal with that. But dude, this offense is kind of like nasty now. I can't even lie. It's a scary offense, but he's just getting paid a lot. Okay, fine. Think about this. You have Derek Carr, you have Alvin Kamara. Okay. You have Chris Olave, which is the promising rookie.
Yeah. You still have Michael Thomas.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting.
It isn't. It's like an FE.
No, can we talk about this for
Chris
a second?
Olave and Michael Thomas. If Michael Thomas is your wide receiver,
you're
doing really well.
Wait, hold up. Let's talk about this for a second. What happened to this guy, bro? What
injuries?
No, but it's something more. It's you don't just get sidelined for 2 to 3 years because like he was every year he posts that cryptic stuff like the team's not letting me play or I have trust issues with the team, with the trainers, with the strength and conditioning coaches.
Bro, we're gonna end up with another AB in like 2 years.
And Keyshawn Johnson, right, who's on ESPN, is his uncle, and he always talks about stuff with Michael Thomas about how like there's a video of him just talking about how, you know, there's stuff that the team does, there's stuff that he does. It gets misconstrued in the media. And so we don't know what's happening, but he's taken the bag for the last 2 years without really producing.
It really has. So, but the thing is in the NFL, there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, which we don't really know about. Cause I saw this Twitter post the other day, and this is Ravens.
Well, you guys
player.
don't, I have my sources, but yeah.
Right. Sure. But I saw this Ravens player tweet about like his issues with the Ravens front office. Cause
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah. No, someone else. Because he had the same injury as Lamar when Lamar had that knee injury. Was it Rashad Bateman? I don't think it was Rashad Bateman.
No, never mind.
No, right. This guy had the same knee injury as Lamar, but since he wasn't as much of a quality player, so to say, or they're top-notch players, they gave him like less attention. And so basically what happened is he got that same injury, and then they made him practice 3 days after he got that injury because they obviously don't care. So they probably just did a little. Yeah. And then sent him off. And then
I know what you're talking about. Byron Jones for the Miami Dolphins. He was talking about how he can't run and jump anymore because of all the injections that the team gave him. Maybe is that
not only injections. It's so the problem is between like there's a lot of discrepancies between the front office and like the coaching staff. So apparently like the front office didn't like the weight trainers, like the weight trainers didn't like the head coaching staff, and so they wouldn't have any communication, which would lead to just like the players pushing themselves past the limits. So when like a player gets injured, like there's so much more like psychologically than what happens to them physically. So like when they get injured, it's hard to come back from pretty large injuries if you don't have the right people behind you. But
going back to the Derek Carr situation, right? That's one. But now that opens up to Jets. Who are they gonna get? Also, we have Geno.
That has big implications.
We have Geno Smith again, like Ari said with news. He got a 3-year, $105 million deal. So what does that hold in store for the QB market with Daniel Jones? Because Daniel Jones didn't play as good as Geno. So that all this stuff is up there. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I'm most interested in the Jets, man. I genuinely believe if Jets can get Aaron Rodgers, they are a very dangerous team. I'm telling you right now, man. Breece Hall is going to be back next year. Their defense is one of the best. You could make an argument that it is the best in the league. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to tell me Jets defense is not one of the best in the league. One of the best in the league. You're going to tell me it's not.
I'll put them at top 10 merely because of their secondary.
Top 10. I dare you to name 9 teams that are better than them. I dare you to name
top 5, bro.
Okay, fine. Let's go through this. So
he thinks the Patriots are better. That's funny. That's funny.
No. Patriots defense I can accept as being better than them this year.
Yes.
Yeah. But you can't act like they're infinitely better. It's pretty close. The Jets defense is insane this year.
Okay, fine.
Especially considering how shit their offense is and that the fact that their defense is probably on the field a lot more.
Okay, fine. You know what? I put them at like 6. If I'd go, so there's San Francisco, there's Philly, there's Dallas, there's New England, there's Denver, and then I put the Jets.
No, I put them above Broncos.
I
put them above Broncos.
I want to put them above
dude. The Broncos defense held every team to a very very low amount of points. Bro, it's just the offense could not cope up. Wait, one second. If the Broncos were winning games, if Russell Wilson was clutching up, if they had like the 11-5 predicted record, whatever they had, this would be a completely different story, and they'd be ranking the Broncos above the Jets. It's just because the Broncos offense was not producing, the Broncos defense got like overshadowed.
It's the same. The Jets is the same way though. Broncos and Jets had a similar predicament. I would put the Patriots below them. I'd put the Philly. What was the other team you said? Cowboys. I put them below them too. Cowboys. I put them below them too. I put them as a top 4 defense for sure.
I think I
would agree. The Jets defense was insane this year, especially considering what they were doing offensively. Like
they also have a lot of free agents, though. Remember that they have a lot of free agents that are going out the season. What is it?
They also have a lot of cap,
but they also have, their team is very young though, because like think about how many people they like got this last draft. They had a perfect draft.
But think about it. Bro, they might lose Quincy Williams.
Insane.
Brees Hall
is insane. And who's the wide receiver they got?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, dude.
And they have Elijah Moore.
If they have Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, bro, I'm telling you, that's a dangerous team next year. It sucks that
they're divisional round.
They're in a very tough division. That's gonna hurt them.
Rishi's like very like Patriots centric, and he's very like I don't want
that division is gonna be so fun to watch next year because I'm just saying, right? The fact that the Jets passed up on Derek Carr makes me think that they are confident about Aaron Rodgers because Derek Carr said he was leaning towards the Jets.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Jets didn't pull the trigger on Carr means that they must have a very good feeling that they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. Because obviously, if you're going to go between the two, you're picking Aaron Rodgers. You know, every day of the week. I don't care how bad he played last season. You're picking Aaron Rodgers.
But you cannot afford to get no one. And
that's the problem. So the fact that they didn't pull the trigger on Carr when Carr
is a risk
said that he wanted to play for, he said that he was leaning towards the Jets, shows that they must be confident in getting.
They have to. That's a good. Yeah.
You know, so I'm just saying, Packers are my second favorite team. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love watching the Packers. So it's gonna be sad to see him leave. Aaron Rodgers is probably my favorite player. It's gonna suck, but I think he'll do really well in the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what do you guys think about Daniel Jones's market now?
Because he's a dumbass, man, thinking that he deserves that much money.
Here's the thing, right? This is what I think. I'm saying he thinks he can't reset the QB market, right? He should. I think his value is around 35 million. Okay, in this QB market, right? And we have to think about signing Saquon as well. Because we can't tag 2 people. We can only tag 1.
We can't afford
it. And they're obviously going to tag Daniel Jones because he's a fucking quarterback. So what are we going to do for the running back? Like, we need Saquon is our offense.
Come
Daniel
on,
Jones,
man. We got the GOAT at running back. Gary Brightwell, man. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Oh, my God. But
I have a feeling.
Saquon, man.
I have a feeling that they might let Saquon go.
I think so. And I don't
like that. This is what pisses me off, man. Like, I've been saying, like, they should have traded Saquon when they had the chance because they know they can't re-sign him. Yeah, we did good last year, and we have.
He's not asking for so much. He's not asking for a lot.
What's he asking for?
14 million.
What per year?
20 mil.
No, he's not asking for 20. He is not. He himself said. He said he doesn't want to reset the market. Whatever McCaffrey's making, he wants to make that much.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
that is fair.
That's it.
It makes sense for him to want to ask for the top level. He clearly is.
Like, Daniel Jones is being so much more unreasonable than Saquon Barkley.
100%.
Like, it's crazy.
But that's also because he's playing off the fact that the Giants desperately need a quarterback, and they don't have the draft pick to draft one. He has to have
the Tom Brady mentality where you got to sacrifice a little bit so that your other players can eat.
Because they know they can't win. They're not going to win even if
Daniel Jones' productivity is directly correlated with Saquon Barkley's efficiency.
100%. Yeah.
So it's in his own best interest to have both.
I think they complement each other very well, but I think he's really grown his pocket presence a lot. Like when he's a good pocket passer now. Like even outside the pocket, he's throwing some nice throws.
It's also the pocket's better. Like, it's not just
pocket's better, dude. Okay, fine. You give Daniel Jones better receivers, then the offense will be more surrounded around throwing, right? Because the only reason it was centered around like the running back is because that's their only player that they have. I mean, who's Isaiah Hodgins is emerging as a good wide receiver. If you guys get a good wide receiver one, dude, I think he's pretty talented.
He is, but the fact that that's our wide receiver one, the most giant wide receiver one possible straight out the Foot Locker, man. Like, I'm telling you,
fuck Kenny Galladay. He was the biggest miss.
He's gone. He's gone.
Hey, you know what?
Biggest miss.
When we needed him most. He came through with the tackle when we needed him most.
This guy wasted. I honestly was so happy when we got him, and he turned out to be the biggest disappointment.
Dude, I was so
of
happy.
72 million I've ever seen.
God.
That might have been a worse deal than Brock Osweiler's $74 million from the Texans. Like, that was so bad of a contract.
God, I forgot about that.
It was terrible. That deal was horrible, and I don't think he's getting another deal, to be honest with you. Maybe a veteran's minimum, but that's about it. I think this new guy, Quentin Johnston from TCU, if we draft him in the first round, this guy's a bona fide starter. Reminds me of Chris Olave. Reminds me of Odell Beckham Jr. with his explosiveness. This guy is the real deal. He will be our wide receiver number one. He got the size, the weight, the speed, the elusiveness, the explosiveness. He is meant for New York City, guys. I'm telling you right now.
Bro, that was the most beautiful set of words I've heard in a minute.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not very fond of this year's wide receiver class coming out of college, bro. I think like if I were to choose like two people who I think will succeed, it would probably be like Jackson Smith from Ohio State and then Jordan Addison from USC. Those are two guys also putting up good combine stats as well. Quentin Johnson, I don't know. I feel like if you like watch his film, Quentin Johnson is like what?
No, God, what are
you just repeated USC.
I mean, okay. I think from like a size and speed perspective. What's going on?
Just continue.
Right, go.
I'm just saying, I don't think he's able to get separation well. I think if he improves his releases, and he also drops the ball a lot. Remember that, dude. He has a lot of drops. You can't have another
Evan Ingram, bro.
You can't, dude. Evan Ingram,
not anymore,
bro.
Man.
You got franchise.
Everybody leaves the Giants, and they start doing well. Like,
facts. Dude, the Jags are so scary, bro.
I'm so happy about that, though. I'm really excited to see that team.
They're so scary, bro.
Yeah.
The
AFC is so stacked. The NFC is like so bad compared to them now.
All the quarterbacks left. That's why.
Dude. And then imagine Aaron Rodgers also goes to the AFC. Like,
oh my God, that is literally Jalen Hurts' conference.
Yeah.
Like, who else do they have? They have nobody.
Unless the Niners re-signed Jimmy G.
Jimmy G's
not coming back.
Bro, they will not let Jimmy G come back. After, just as like a statement, they won't let him come back. Sitting there like when your team's losing and you're smiling on the sidelines, they won't bring him back.
No. Brock Purdy,
I feel like a respect thing.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Fair enough. Who do you guys think he'll go to, though? I feel like he might go to the
That's
Titans,
the thing. He needs to be picked up by someone because he is too good to be on a bench. Same with Daniel Jones. Like, Daniel Jones deserves his flowers for how good he played this year. Like, he's one of the best mobile QBs right now. Obviously not at the level of like Lamar Jackson, but come on, you have to admit, like, with the O-line we have, he did really well. And so he does deserve to get paid, but just not that much. And we can afford to pay him that much. But if the Giants don't pay him, someone will. I do believe that.
That's fine.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's just trying to like overshoot his estimate just to see if he can possibly get any more money. He's staying in New York.
He is a Giants quarterback. Look at him. He is a Giants quarterback.
There's
no denying it.
Yeah. Except Eli Manning can run this time.
Yeah. Bro, remember when like towards the end of his career, the like 2 times Eli would run the ball, everyone would get so hyped. Like,
yeah,
that's the same with Brady, bro. Every time Brady would run, I'd be like, "Oh my God, bro! Call this man Lamar Jackson out here because he got the wheels." I miss the good old days, though.
One thing that I saw like this past weekend was the combine, right? And you guys, I don't know if you guys saw, but on Thursday or Friday, this one player from Georgia, the projected number one overall pick, Jalen Carter, had an arrest warrant out because of his like So basically what happened was this one guy got murdered, and it was through a crash, right? Like one of the Georgia players, and he was seen on camera racing with the trainer, and that's with the same car, which means that he's apparently the one who did the crash, right? And this goes to a bigger picture because we just saw with Ja Morant yesterday, today, right? All this stuff that's going on with players who are ruining their futures over trying to act hood or doing stupid shit, right? And my whole thing is like, especially Ja Morant, right? This guy signed a 5-year, $230 million contract. He signed a 5-year, $230 million contract. And he comes from a nice family. He was not born in the hood. He was born in a nice suburban house, whatever. And he thinks, you know, hanging with the wrong crew, hanging with the wrong company, he believes that, you know, he's being a real one or he's trying to be gangster. And everyone's like, for what purpose, right? People work their asses off, whether that's like playing sports or labor or whatever it might be, to get out of the hood, right? And he's trying to act like he's part of it. And that's what's getting him in this trouble, right? And there's players like Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, who've been through this. They've been through it when they're at a young age. They're hanging with the wrong company. And the NBA knows this. They have ex-FBI agents, ex-CIA agents who are constantly looking at what their players do, because at the end of the day, these players are their investments. And all they do is look at them and see what they're doing all day, whether they're able, are they smoking? Are they drinking? Who are they hanging out with? Are they selling drugs? Are they doing this, right? Because people in these hoods, right, as Stephen A said today, people in these hoods would do anything to protect the $100 they have. Imagine what NBA is going to do to protect the multi-billion-dollar industry that they are, right? These people do not realize that they're watching them at every footstep. And people like Ja Morant, who might be the face of the league with Zion Williamson in the future, right? Look at LeBron, look at Curry. Have they ever gotten in trouble? No. Kevin Durant, they don't get in trouble because they know they're the marquee, they're the face of the league. When Ja Morant, Nike just cut their ties with Kyrie and started it with Ja Morant. That could go away like this, right? Powerade last week had shot a commercial with T. Morant, which is his father, and him, right? And yeah, he's getting help, which is good. But dude, going to the Pacers stadium and having a laser beam, right? Beating up a 17-year-old kid over a basketball. And then waving a gun over Instagram Live. Like, is this really what you want to do to sacrifice $230 million? I have never seen a gun cost more in my life than I have that Ja Morant's holding right now. Like, I don't understand his thought process. And it pisses me off because I know I'm not in this position where I come from nothing and I'm suddenly given $230 million, so I don't know how to act. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you got to think about the marathon, not the sprint. You're talking about $230 million that will change your kid's life, their kid's life, right? And at some point, I'm like tired of people just wasting their futures over silliness.
Wow. Today you've been coming in with some
that was
crazy...
a real marathon, man. I'm winded, man.
Yeah,
I think it's...
You know what I think it is? Yeah, you got it.
I think it's just a product of culture. I mean,
that marathon, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. He's right. He's right, though. Yeah.
I think it low-key is a product of culture and just like, obviously, okay, for music, for example, I feel like we've discussed this before. It's obviously there's a lot of affiliation with, you know, like some artists in the music industry also have bad ties. So you create this culture that also, because they bring their personalities into like the music influence, is the same thing with sports and like in that aspect. So then what ends up happening is like, there's kind of like this like romanticizing of this like negative culture. And it just is what happens when, you know, there are people, and it's not like it's their fault. Like people who come from bad areas are in that mindset, and then they come to this, you know, the big leagues. They're playing in the NBA. They're making big music, and then it's just that's who they were before. That's who they are now. It's not like that's the issue. But then because it becomes a part of a culture, then people who weren't like that, people who didn't come into the league, you know, from the hood, people who didn't start making music from the hood, also are pulled into that culture, and they become a part of that culture. And I think that's like that connection, that tie. And so like Morant wasn't like necessarily, his issue wasn't, I don't think like he wanted to drop $230 million. It was that, you know, he was just trying to like be a part of that culture. And it's like, when you're in that, you just want to like be a part of that culture, and being a part of that culture is that negative aspect because it is somewhat affiliated with all these, you know, stuff.
You know, I think it is. I think like people expect him to like have like a certain demeanor. Like people expect him to be hard, and I feel like it happens like a lot with like a lot of different cultures. Like he's expected to act some way. Like he's expected to like walk some way. He's expected to like talk in like some different style. You know, like when he's around different people, he's expected to act different way. Like for example, like when I'm around like different like cultured people, like I talk a different way. Or like if when I'm around you guys, I'll maybe like talk a different way to you guys. And I feel like the expectation of being black, so to say, maybe just got to him. Like we're like, I feel like in this society, like black men are expected to be like, I don't know, like tough and like, you know, like that's like, how do I say this without being like
Okay, I think
disrespectful?
yeah. So I think what you're trying to tie into Nishk's thing is it goes hand in hand with culture, because a lot of ties with that culture, like we see in hip hop, is associated with this kind of like negative image, right? Which is obviously a bad thing because it's not true for the average black man, right? And so it puts a negative image on the black community. And so what I think also Shannon Sharp was pissed off about because of this is because Ja Morant's trying to put this negative image onto the black community by trying to act hood and like gangster, waving a gun in the air when he's not even like that. And so, and the same thing's true in music, where a lot of people who don't actually go through that struggle want to promote that kind of lifestyle. And I'm not saying in music you should stop talking about the things that happen in your life, because if it happened, you should talk about it, but don't talk about it and glorify it and make it seem like it was the best thing that ever happened to you, you know? And also then when you actually make it out and you have the money to actually turn your life around for the better, don't go back. But I know it's easier said than done, because that's still their people, that's still their friends. It's very hard to just turn away from those kind of things, you know? So it's a very hard thing to do, but I think Nish's absolutely right. Like it's a cultural thing that has unfortunately formed. And so some people are driven to want to like match that cultural image when really that image is like harming the average person of that community.
And another thing I'd like to add is these people, like out of an entourage or a friend group, if one person makes it, NBA and NFL, anything, the rest of them are surrounded by him. So when they go out for dinner, the leader pays, right? The guy with the cash pays, the guy with the bag pays. And so when it's also in their best interest to protect the asset, which is the player, right? Because when you're making generational money, you're going to take care of the people around you. And so if they're putting him in a bad position, they're not only going to sacrifice the asset, they're going to sacrifice their own livelihood. So it goes against their own best interest to like jeopardize him and jeopardize what he stands for. And again, like Nish said, culture, like there's still a long ways to go for equality, but the best way we could move forward is at least deterring the perception or stereotypes that a lot of people have for different cultures and truly being the best version of yourself. Because let's face it, right? When in society today, if like, again, I watch Stephen A lot, so I'll quote him, but he says like, when a white person sneezes, black people get pneumonia. Like it's to get half of what, you know, the majority get, you need to work twice as hard, at least for the minority. And so by projecting yourself against stereotypes and as a well-to-do person and understanding the position you are, this is why so many people love LeBron James, because he understands his position. He understands his marquee. He understands the influence he has. And so he uses that to his advantage to spread wealth to help the people around him, aka Maverick Carter, right? All these different people in his high school, Rich Paul. So, you know, these people have to understand the position they're in and the influence that they have, right? And that's why a lot of people get mad at people like Kyrie Irving, because he sometimes doesn't understand and then says stupid stuff because of that, or acts a certain way because of that. And so that's another thing you kind of have to keep in mind, is you have to understand your position, because what you do will influence other people and the next generation of people. Because when people see this, owners are going to be like, oh, now I don't want to pay young people the bag, right? For the people in line coming up, for example, like LaMelo Ball or someone like that. They'll be like, oh, what if he turns into Ja Morant? Or what if he does something to sacrifice the product, which is the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point he has to realize he's not only holding an image for himself, but he's holding an image for his community. And like, I feel like a lot of people would like love to have his life and would give up like everything to have the life that he has. And he's just throwing it away just because he thinks is cool or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how lucky of a position he's in. We could, no matter how hard we work in our life, we're not touching that level of money, and the same is true for a lot of people he grew up with. Every person around him in his life is not. You're going to make $230 million in 1 year, or not 1 year.
Not in 1 year.
You're going to make $230 million.
Regardless, people, I think in general, people underestimate how much luck goes into becoming wealthy. Yeah, sure. Like that grind will help you. Of course. Everyone agrees that grind will help
Everyone
you.
needs some level of luck.
But once you get to a certain level, like as smart as, like, for example, Bill Gates was, like, there was luck that played into him becoming who he was. Or same 100%. With Warren Buffett, same with all these big figures. Like, anyone who you think is a heavy hitter in finance, in music, in sports,
CS,
CS tech, whatever it may be, whatever the industry is, part of it was luck. If Mark Zuckerberg didn't make Facebook the time he made it, if he made it a year later, it might not have been the thing it was. And so even though, like, obviously you can grind as hard as you want and you'll make, that first part of, like, your wealth will be from that grind, that first million, that first like 2 million. But after that, you're not going to make 230 million just because you grinded it out. Part of it is luck. And he needs to realize that, like, wherever he came from, it doesn't matter. Obviously he didn't come from what he's acting like, but he needs to realize that luck that he had to get into the position he's in, like, he shouldn't just be messing around with that, toying around with what he has right now.
It's also a waste of influence. I feel like when you come from a community that is often, like, underrepresented and often portrayed in a negative way, you should have that, like, I don't know. I feel like if I was in this position, I would want to put up a better image for my community,
Yeah.
Like, there's so many negatives and, like, stereotypes and bad things portrayed against the Black community, which are just not true for the average Black man. And so when you get that much influence, you should want to show people that this stuff isn't true, so that you can actually have some sort of impact. Because very few people get the chance to have the level of influence as these famous, like, players and, like, artists.
I think part of it is the same thing, like Kobe. I remember Kobe used to say, because Kobe wasn't also from, like, he was somewhat wealthy,
suburbs,
and so suburbs and everything. Like, he wasn't broke when he came in. It's hard to find that street cred, because a lot of the people who come from, like, the bottom, when they get up there, it becomes like a circle. It's like, we made it up here. And so if you're coming from a wealthy place, like, in the NBA, he might not have had the same street cred some of the other players might have who might actually be from worse places. And so then it ties back into that culture thing we were talking about, where if I act hard, if I act hood, then I come back and I'm now a part of these people who were originally like this. But it's not really like that. It's obviously you might lack some street cred at first, but it's you being who you are, being that good influence, changing the perspective.
And the whole street cred thing shouldn't matter, man.
It really should not. Yeah.
What does it matter, man? You are making millions of dollars a year. I don't care about your street cred. You're living in a giant mansion. I don't care about your street cred. Like, and no one else should either.
The same way it brought up Kobe. Like, Kobe he had that same issue, but he wasn't like that.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys, but I would pose this question, right? Street cred, whether that be within the league or outside the league, ultimately makes up your legacy.
Dude, street cred is basically what people have when they're in that situation, and they're basically using it to stay alive. Because if people don't like you in a certain, like, bad situation, you're first one to go. But if you're liked by the people around you, if you have like good, like, acquaintances around you, or if you have quote unquote street cred, then you'll be, like, lightly touched upon. And I feel like, I don't know, he needs to realize that, like, that's not what matters the most. Because I'm sure Ja Morant is probably one of the most, like, watched, like, NBA superstar on all, like, social media platforms.
And he could, like Prem was saying, be the face of the league eventually. Like,
literally, he probably already is, bro. Every kid's like, oh my God, I want to dunk like Ja Morant. I want to make these flashy plays like Ja Morant. And now they see him doing this and they're like, oh, well, I looked up to this guy. I thought he was going to be, like, an amazing player. And now, like, his life's going downhill. And, like, now we don't know what's going to happen with Ja Morant. He hasn't been back to the team. We don't know if he's going to go back to the team now.
And then eventually it's going to be like, we look at Josh Gordon, right? One of the most talented wide receivers who's ever played this game. And you could see the talent as he walks on the field. And he mentioned in a documentary, he had a, marijuana issue. First time he went into rehab, he did it for publicity purposes, didn't even want to actually get better. Second time he did it because he had no choice, or they were going to kick him out of the league. Ultimately got kicked out of the league, came back in, then got kicked out again. Now plays in the XFL and putting up amazing numbers, but no one cares. He's probably not making the amount of money he's lost in the league, or by not being in the league, is insane, and it probably would have changed his life forever. And now,
even though
I do think that's very different, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back to what you were saying.
I'm just saying the general concept.
I was going back to what you were going to say with you're saying like street cred makes your legacy. I somewhat will disagree with that. I think that like
that was just a question. I'm not saying
okay,
one or the other.
I do not think it does. I don't think street cred makes your legacy, but I think at the end of the day, it's when you look at people who are from the same position as Ja Morant, like he didn't come from the hood. He came from a somewhat wealthy family. Like, they weren't struggling or anything. Same way Kobe did. But look at the way Kobe's legacy is. Kobe came from what I would say is like very similar. I mean, I don't know if you guys might disagree with me, but very similar to what Ja Morant came from. And like, he's one of the people that everyone looks at and is like, regardless of who you like in basketball, everyone likes Kobe.
Respects, yeah.
Everyone respects Kobe because of that image he made for himself. Even though he came from a wealthy place and whatnot, he still like proved to everyone that like his mentality, his, Mamba mentality, that's what it was. It wasn't about the street cred. It wasn't about whatever. It wasn't about where he came from. It was his personality, his like endeavors and the way he worked in life. And I think the same thing is what Ja Morant should have been looking at, but instead he messed up and makes the mistakes he made.
I mean, who knows? Hopefully he'll be able to look back on this if he does, get out of this situation and, get back on like the right track, and hopefully he'll look back at this and reflect and maybe like, start to change and become like a better influence for the people that watch him and follow him. And then, maybe he'll turn his life back around and get rid of this stupid idea that he has to be a thug.
Let's just say one thing is he never got arrested. No arrest warrants, no anything like that. There is a police investigation, but there's no like official record of him getting charged with anything. But with that being said, like perception matters, right? Especially at his position when you're trying to be a face of the league, right? That matters. Like all these things matter when it comes to, you're trying to be the marquee, like I mentioned, you're trying to be the face. So, yeah.
I mean, if that's as what Prem said, that's basically it. Like it's, at the end of the day, it's being the face of the league. He needs to know what is right for him. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So yeah, that was a great episode for this week. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week. I mean, we all got spring break, but hopefully we can work something out and except for Ari too. I mean, the two of us at spring break. Okay. I guess it's only half of us at spring break, but see you guys next week. Peace out.
Great episode. Peace out.